It's the book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 9. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord power, that I will cause the sun to go down at noon, and I will darken the earth in the clear day. So before I get on, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Awashai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. May Yahweh Bashim Awashai's peace be bestowed unto you, hopefully elect. Because Lord's will, we're definitely going to need it, as the pieces of prophecy are all coming together. And this thing, specifically Babylon the Great, because great tribulation is getting ready to come upon the world. We're already feeling the effects, been feeling the effects. But as we know, or should know by now, it's only going to get worse. And, all we can do is brace for impact and hope in the mercy of Yahweh Bashim Awashai. Because with that being said, just another domino effect concerning all the events leading up to Jacob's trouble. Sown houses being unsown, roughly paraphrasing. We know, according to the scriptures, people are going to be at each other's throats for resources because of the lack thereof. Babylon specifically is just about to be in a poor case, a pitiful case. And as we see more and more, Yahweh Bashim Awashai, he's stripping the comforts, taking away the stay and staff of bread. So this is just another one of those videos I came across as I heard the news about the UAE wanting to leave the OPEC. And before I ramble, of course, just want to let the expert, hear it from the horse's mouth themselves, because of course they can explain it better than we can oftentimes, which is why we use these videos. So with that being said, copyright disclaimer, fair use. I'm not making any type of monetary gain. This is just for informational purposes. I'm going to play through this video, Lord willing.
Two very important things happened just today. One of which is already affecting us here in the United States. The second one is even bigger, but it hasn't hit us here in the U.S. just yet. This is what I'm talking about. Today, the UAE shocked OPEC because they are going to leave OPEC and OPEC+. The UAE, the United Arab Emirates, has been a part of OPEC since 1960, or 1967. So almost 60 years. OPEC, again, this started back in 1960. This is extremely important because when prices for oil go up, and this is what OPEC is doing, they are manipulating the market. So, for instance, when prices of oil goes up, that means we have a lot of demand and we have a lot less supply. What OPEC can do is go and produce more oil. They can increase their quotas. The same thing in reverse. When prices of oil go down, and I believe it's like under $60-some a barrel, what OPEC does, because that means we have a lot of supply and very limited demand. Well, that means prices are lower. What OPEC does is they go and cut their quotas. They cut production on oil, so that the price of oil will kind of fluctuate up. They manipulate the market. Now, why is this important? Well, look what happened to oil just today. This is gas prices as of today. Gas prices as of today, April 28th, they're $4.17 a gallon. This is the nationwide average here in the U.S. This is why it's important. It was $4.11 yesterday. Because of what OPEC has done and because of what the United States and Iran are doing at this time, it's creating a lot of problems. I want to play a couple clips for you in just a second, but this is why it's such a big deal. What the United Arab Emirates wants is they want to have more freedom to produce more oil and not be limited by OPEC quotas. Because the UAE has invested heavily into expanding production, and now they want the ability to pump more. Okay? They want to produce more so that they can make more money, not be limited. So, here's the concern. Gas prices could become very volatile. They could move up and down in a big way if the UAE decides we are just going to pump more oil, we're going to produce more, and we're going to release it. That's going to cause prices to come down on everything. Or we could also see, and this is extremely concerning, we could see other members of OPEC pull out of OPEC as well. And if everybody starts producing more oil, that will bring the price of gas and energy, everything down. But it could also go the opposite way. If everyone decides we are not going to produce as much, we're not going to be told when or how much we could produce, they could also say, no, I'm going to wait till prices go up, and then we'll start producing. That means everything gets more expensive. Look at this right here, because again, all this came out earlier today. Look at this.
Big news out of the Emirates say the UAE announced it will be leaving OPEC on May 1st as the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Iran was one of 5 founding members back in 1960. UAE, the 7th largest oil exporter in the world. It appears that Iran a big reason for the UAE to be leaving now as far.
Yeah, Iran is a big reason why they're leaving. Listen to this one.
Gas prices are surging to the highest level in nearly 4 years because of course the deadlock, Iran war, and the talks just aren't going anywhere around the global economy. Now, the national average is now $4.18 a gallon. That's at nearly 7 cents. And this is yesterday, the highest price since the war.
Because I kid you not, and I couldn't help but to laugh at the fact. Because what was that, Monday, gas was down under $4, you know, and I was like, man, y'all busting my shot, make that gas go back up, man. You know, and sure enough, Tuesday, you know, just yesterday, gas was back up to $4.11. I said, damn. But hey, you know, we're in those times.
Again, just to get kind of a better sense or window into what we're watching right now. It's important to look back.
Now, I want to play the rest of this in a second, but what you need to keep in mind is that prices have shot up. They have shot up. Look at this.
For time. I'm going to draw a little bit on the magic wall and try not to make a fool of myself as Richard is watching me here. He said 418 is where things stand today. And I think when you look at the run-up, just since the start of the war, what's so notable is the speed and scale of the surge of the prices, but also that prices were below $3 a gallon right before this was all happening. At the end of last year, the start of January, everything the Trump administration wanted on this front, Richard, was happening. Now, if you look back over to the Ukraine conflict and the aftermath of that in the near term, we saw gas prices topping $5, came back down pretty fairly. So, Richard, we haven't hit the $5 mark yet. This seems dramatically worse from a global market perspective in terms of the disruption.
Because all these markets are manipulated. So it just goes to show you how within the blink of an eye things can change. You know, that sudden destruction that the scriptures talk about.
Living through. Where do you see this going?
Alright, so I wish I'd known you had your toys out because I've got one that I could have used. Instead, I'm just going to go the old-fashioned way. You can't really see this very clearly. But essentially, the oil price has risen quite sharply, right? So we had a very sharp rise in the oil price, as you can see. Now, the important point to realise is this bit. Once the oil price got up there, over $100 a barrel, it's going to shade it in so you can see. It doesn't matter how long it continues. This bit is baking in slow growth, slowing economy, higher inflation. And as this continues on and on and on, you know, the president can say this will be over in a few weeks. Anybody can say they'll be talking in Islamabad. But as long as this big wodge continues forward, that's the bit that's doing the damage. Anything over up towards $100 a barrel. So, you ask how long this goes on. It goes on until there's a reason for the price to come down. And during the markets does it once or twice. But longer term, Phil, it's not going to do it. And that's why you're seeing what you're seeing on yours.
Here's the other issue. Okay, what he just said. Without seeing something that really jars the market, which means another member leaves OPEC, or we see a global recession, or a U.S. recession, or other things like that. Okay, or straight up Hormuz just opens up. If something major doesn't happen, then we are going to continue to see this type of oil prices. We're going to see this for gas prices. Energy costs are going through the roof, which means inflation across the board is going to go up. Okay, we're going to see it because it's going to. If energy goes up, everything from food to automotive to building materials to clothing and furniture and electronics, everything becomes more expensive. But honestly, I don't think a lot of people realize this. And this is why, again, I want you to really understand what we're facing. Because, again, this could be a short-term chaotic moment, but according to experts, they believe this is what we need to prepare for. We need to prepare for a long-term, possibly cheaper oil and less manipulation because of what's going on OPEC, but this is short-term chaos. This is short-term chaos is what they're saying. So prepare for this. Higher gas prices, higher diesel prices, fertilizer costs are going up, grocery prices will become more expensive, shipping fees are likely going to go up, which means we will likely lose free shipping on a lot of the stuff that we currently buy, especially online. Airline prices will get hit, and people will feel financial stress over the next, likely, several months. So, this could be that first domino that falls, and then other members of OPEC, you'll follow suit. Or, this may be the only one. Again, we don't know exactly, but what we do know is this does not mean this is great news for the rest of the world. The UAE leaving OPEC, it's big, but this is where it gets even bigger. How does this hit your budget? That's the difference.
Yeah, because again, man, like I said, everyone is already feeling the squeeze. But newsflash, it's only going to get worse. And as he was mentioning with this short-term chaos, because there is going to be a time of total anarchy and lawlessness and things of that nature. Well, this is what Esau is going to use to justify him and, of course, bringing in the order. There's going to be a new system up and running, a new way of buying and selling, and so on and so forth. All right, Revelation 13. But this is just all more fuel to the fire. And Lord willing, it looks like hey, it's going to be a hot summer, man. Lord's will. Because, everything is going to be affected as it was broken down. Everything. Shit. Breathing is going to get expensive. Breathing is going to get expensive, man. Tawadi Al-Bashmal Shah, I'm not going to get into it, but, just been praying about some personal things. Yahweh Bashmal Shah, he's been coming through. Just delivered me today. Just gave me one of several things that I asked for today. Granted me Tawadi Al-Bashmal Shah. And the other things that are have not yet come to pass, Yahweh Bashmal Shah is pretty much in the spirit. Let me know that he's listening and to just wait. To just be patient, because the Lord, he's taking care of it. Because as we transition from faith to faith, all right, there's levels to faith, man. So, as we transition, and you talk about, as the scriptures say, the just living by faith. Because again, we're going to be here too. We're going to be affected. Contrary to popular belief, there's no tribulation there's no rapture before the tribulation. So we're going to be here and we're going to be affected. But like I said in 2 Esdras 9, you had this bugged out ass Jake come up last Friday talking about where are your works? Talking about going to the hood, but where's your faith? Where are your works? Well, hey, the fact that we're out there, all right, that is us showing our work, our faith by our works. Because like it says in 2 Esdras 9, those that show their faith, showing their faith through their works, because the two go hand in hand. are going to be preserved from the said perils. So like I said, because at this point, all we can do is brace for impact and hope in the Lord's mercy, because it is going to get bad, needless to say. But these are the times that we're coming into. 2 Ezra 6. As I quoted, the sown houses being unsown, right? The price of everything is going to continue to go up, skyrocket. 2 Ezra 6 and 24. And it came to pass after this that Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his hosts and went up and besieged Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria. And behold, they besieged it. And this is the thing about it, because as we speak, and even more so since 2020, that whole crisis started, things have been sped up. But we are currently being besieged all over again. It's a modern day siege all over again. Esau, he's building a trench round about the tribes all over again. Right? Because speaking of that, that Samaria or Egypt, Jake always had a problem. Jake always had a bad habit of trusting in Egypt, right? Isaiah 19. Isaiah 19 and 13. The princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Noph are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt. Talking about America. Even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof. So again, Jake always had a habit of putting the trust into Egypt, right? Instead of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Back in 2 Ezra, almost forgot where I was at. I'm sorry, 2 Kings. Because this is the times that we're coming into. I like the scripture say, I'm going to grab it because I don't want to quote it, because I'm going to butcher it. As this place continues to go down, Lord's will, the only direction for us is up, because this place is going down one way or the other. Isaiah 30 and 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. So again, Yahweh Shema Shah, he's taking away, he's removing that staying staff of bread. It says, verse 13, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. And like I said, because just Monday, gas was under $3, or excuse me, it was under $4. I said, damn, Yahweh Shema Shah, let that gas go back up. Bubba Shah. And sure enough, Tuesday, that shit was right back up, 7 cents. But like I said, it just goes to show you how quickly things can change at the snap of a finger. So as this place continues to go down, 2/3, they're going to go down with it. It's back in 2 Kings 6 and 25. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver. And that's that hurt, because for one, I'll just put it like this, man, the skull of an animal ain't got no meat on no bone. There's no meat on that bone for the most part. It's not much you can enjoy off the skull. But it said an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver. And the fourth part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. So imagine that, man. And soon we're not going to have to imagine it, because we're going to be living it. Because like it says here, in Ezekiel, so I've always asked the question, when are these people gonna, what's going to be the straw that break the camel's back? And two things: one, when people can't access the money, and two, when people are starving, they can't get no food. Ezekiel 4, in 16, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight. So food rationings, because there ain't nothing, again, it's not going to be nothing in the shelves, nothing in the supermarkets, right? It says, and with care, and they shall drink water by measure and with astonishment. Because, yeah, hey, we told you famine was going to come. You know, we told these people the famine was going to come. While these people are able to stuff their face, right? While we're telling them that there's a famine coming, they're going to stuff their face, right? But when that day comes, they're going to have that they're going to be in that astonishment. Like, damn, they did tell us we were going to be dying of famine. They did tell us there's going to be no food. You know, when people are in that state of perplexity, like, what do we do? Hey, I ain't got nothing for you, man. So back in Amos 8 and 9, and it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord power, that I will cause the sun to go down at noon, and I will darken the earth in the clear day. So it just goes to show you how bad it's going to get. As I always say, our words will never do justice. That's why at some point, Yahweh Shemel Shah, he's really just going to have to demonstrate it. He's just going to have to show it. Because our words would never do justice. But we're seeing the events, we're seeing the ingredients being cooked up. All right. You know, and it's all a recipe for disaster. All right. Dark days are in store for Babylon. So it's going to get bad out here. It's only going to get worse before it gets worse, before eventually we get the kingdom. So that's just of the latest. You know, I thought that was, just something to put out there, you know, because again, you know, the nations, they're watching, and, you know, one of the several questions to ask, well, how are the other nations going to react to this? The UAE talking about departing from the OPEC, right? There's this bit of a divide right now. Continue to use the dollar, or you're gonna conduct business with the Chinese yuan. Hey, these nations, a choice has to be made for these nations. That's the point. A choice has to be made. So it's just interesting to see how this is going to continue to play out. But nevertheless, I'm gonna grab this last one, Psalm 119. Because Yahweh Shemel Shah, he's doing it. And at this point, it's just a matter of just being just being patient, man. Pray to Yahweh Shemel Shah to give us patience, because that is the hard part right now. Bear with me. Talks about the water. Psalm 92:4. For thou, Yahweh, has made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. So as these things are going on, Yahweh Shemel Shai, he continues to bring misery to these people, to this place, to this wicked kingdom. Hey, you know, our joy continues to go up, man. Our sorrow continues to turn to joy. So it's just a matter of being patient and sit back. And, again, Yahweh Shema Shai, he's doing it. So Lord's will, this was edifying. All praises to Yahweh Shema Shai. Shalom to you, hopefully, like.